Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Okay, so we are live currently on YouTube and LinkedIn, but give us a moment uh, because we need to go live on Instagram as well.
Sure, sure.
Okay, perfect. So, welcome everyone, and we are so happy to have you here for another session of the Ask, Learn, and Do series with Education in Ireland. I'm also happy to let you know that we are going to be talking about a very interesting and unique program um, that's offered at not one but two universities. So, it's a dual degree, and we did talk about this last year, but it was popular amongst Indian students. So, it's great to have the faculty and students joining us once again to tell you all about this program. I'm going to do a quick round of introductions and then we can start with questions if that's fine. So, we have Professor Daniel Fass here, who's also director of this MSc in Comparative Social Change. And we have a past student, we have Meghna Datta, who has already done this master's program. And we have Sri Purna, who is currently literally in her second to third month of the master's program. So wonderful to have you all here. I think the great thing is that we get different perspectives. And for all those who are interested to know more about this particular masters, so maybe let's take a step back and Daniel, maybe could you just walk us through this particular program? What is it all about, and why did you start uh, something like the Comparative Social Change Masters?
Yeah, well, thank you very much, Anam, and to Education in Ireland for organizing this session. A very warm welcome from the Irish capital, Dublin. It's great to have you all here, and I'd like to tell you a little bit more about this unique program. So, first of all, my name is Daniel Fass. I'm a professor in sociology, and I have been in Dublin for about 16 years now, and my work is mostly in the intersection of migration and education. And I do a lot of comparative work that compares different countries, groups of people within countries, organizations such as schools. And from that, and given the work of colleagues in the field of comparative studies, we had this idea 10 years ago to do something around a comparative social change because Ireland is uniquely positioned in that field. I'll just give you a few examples. In 2015, it was the first country on the planet to vote in same sex marriage through a public referendum. In 2018, it lifted the abortion ban. So 35 years prior to that, in 1983, abortion was banned. Became illegal in Ireland. So in 2018, that ban was lifted. So that's another great example. Then, over the 16 years I have been in this country, I have really seen the country transform into a very cosmopolitan, multicultural society due to large scale inward migration. That has had knock on effects in schools, in higher education, in terms of the diversity of students we have now in our classrooms, and also in this particular program. So, Ireland has seen a net gain in the number of people since 1995. So that has led to a lot of social change. The church, particularly the Catholic Church in this country, has had enormous impact. It's waning, but it still has a lot of impact in certain areas, such as education. It owns most of the school buildings in the health sector, for example. So it's really a unique country to start these discussions of social change in a variety of areas, and then to do so in a comparative, not just European but global framework, to see how does this compare to other countries in Europe and indeed around the world. And that's then what we do in the program. So if I talk briefly about the areas, so there will be comparisons around health, around education, around the labor market systems, gender issues, and many other areas, the role of religion in society, and so forth. But I want to go back a little bit to what is unique about it. So in 2015, when we set up this program, currently we are in the ninth cohort. Um, we got together with UCD, so that's the University College Dublin. The two are the two best universities in Ireland, and we joined our sociology faculty to came up with this program because having it jointly organized gives you a much bigger expertise of staff, more topics that you can avail of. But what is unique is that you will become fully registered students at Ireland's top 2 universities. You have Mondays and Tuesdays classes in UCD, Wednesdays and Thursdays in Trinity, and Friday is always off. You will ultimately become alumni in these 2 universities. You will get 1 degree certificate that is awarded from the 2 universities at a ceremony in UCD, because UCD are the administrative hub at the moment of this program. So that's how it works administratively over the last decade or so. So it gives you all the access to the 2 universities in terms of libraries, sports clubs, societies, etc. So you basically get 2 university experience for the price of one. It couldn't be any better. It's the only joint masters program in Ireland. There is no other program. And so I said already, we take the Irish experience as a starting point to then discuss these issues of social change in a very broad comparative perspective, also with a focus on the BRIC countries. There is a core module, globalization and social change, India, China, Brazil, in comparison. So that's an experience there as well. Obviously, there's a theory module around theories and concepts of social change. How do we define that? And there is training in both quantitative and qualitative research methods, because that's essentially the toolbox that you need in order to conceptualize your own fieldwork project, your own research project, which you will do over the summer. So essentially, the way it's structured, there is 2 terms of teaching from September to December, term 1, from January to April, term 2, and from May till the end of August, you mostly write on your dissertation on a chosen topic with a supervisor, either from Trinity College Dublin or from University College Dublin. So you have you have a great choice there, given that we have so many staff due to the collaboration of our 2 universities.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Daniel. And I think this program really stands out because, as you said, nowhere else, I mean, is such a sort of dual degree program being offered in all of Ireland and by the top
Yes.
2 universities. So that's wonderful. So, could you also tell us? I can see that we've been joined by Aina. So, I just want to say a quick hello to her. Thanks for coming as well. Aina is also currently studying the MSc, and we'll hear from her as well in a little bit. So, Daniel, maybe if you could just tell us about, who are the sort of students that should be applying for this particular program, and what are the sort of
Yes,
eligibility
so we have a
guidelines for them?
really broad base of students from the arts, humanities, and social sciences. So you don't have to have a sociology undergraduate degree. Any area of the arts, humanities, and social sciences will be okay, because particularly the methods module is quite introductory. The theory module also does not assume that you have in-depth knowledge on social change. So arts, humanities, and social science disciplines is perfectly fine. And we have had that, whether it's literature-based subjects, whether it's the languages, whether it's political science, economics, that would all fit, because this is not a very specialized program. It really has all these different thematic areas: gender, education, health, the labor market, religion, nationhood, and how that develops. So it doesn't focus neither theoretically or methodologically nor thematically. Is it very specialized? It's a very broad social science master's program that speaks to these various topics of social change around the world. So arts, humanities, and social science students, please apply. You need a 2-1. What is a 2-1? It's essentially above 3.0 in the GPA average out of 4. So that's very doable. It's a good B sort of B level student, and then you can apply. In terms of the diversity of students, we have already had over 150 graduates. The biggest cohorts are from China, the US, and Ireland, but we have had 9 Indian students to date on the program, and indeed you have some here with me, which is great, because we have both alumni now going on to do PhDs in Detroit in the US. We also have students that are currently in the program. So that is absolutely fantastic. But it's not just limited to those nationalities. If I look here at my list, because it actually has around 30 nationalities, I have France, Germany, Italy, UK, Belgium, Latvia, Romania, Spain, Malta, Switzerland, Norway, Canada, Brazil, Australia, Turkey, Russia, Nigeria, Korea, Malaysia, Guatemala, Ukraine, the Netherlands, Kenya, South Africa. So you really see that this is a cosmopolitan list of students. Now, not all of these 30 are present in each of the classrooms, but every year there is really a good mix, and there is not one group of students, say Indian or Chinese or Americans, that would dominate the classroom. So that is really great, because having smaller numbers from many countries allows us in the modules also to draw on these experiences. So say, for example, in my module that I teach, which is called the Migration Challenge Comparative Educational Perspectives, we do comparative analysis of sets of countries, say, for example, Australia versus South Africa, Brazil versus Argentina, USA versus Canada, United Kingdom versus Netherlands, to analyze how the challenge of migration manifests itself in the education system. And we really have a whirlwind tour of more older and more newer migrant receiving countries, and how they have managed to the different ways in which they've managed to incorporate migrants in the wider societal system, but in the education system in particular, and drawing on the expertise of the students then and their own experience from growing up in these countries is an enormous asset to have in the classroom discussions as well.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Daniel. And maybe I'm going to we do have some questions coming in, but I just want to quickly switch. And because you spoke about classroom experience, maybe Aina, if you could tell us a little bit about how your experience has been so far, what made you apply for this particular program, and how is it,
I
going for you?
think what made me apply for this program was basically the range of topics that I could choose from to study, and also because I don't have a background in sociology. And because the program is so open and it gives you a proper introduction, it gives you that foundation to build up your own research or whatever you want to make of it, and it gives you that freedom, that academic freedom, and the professors are really helpful. You can always reach out to them if you have any doubt or anything. um, I worked as a journalist in India for 5 years, and I applied for this course because my experience goes well with what topics I will be studying, what topics I'm studying here. So I think you really don't have to have any like don't have to worry about that sort of
Yeah, what
background,
background you
what
have? Yeah.
background you have. And here Sri Purna has a background in
Yeah,
sociology, so
exactly.
there are two different
Yeah,
people. We are coming from two different
two different
backgrounds.
backgrounds. Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. So, yeah, about my experience, I always had a interest in social policy and reform. I was looking for courses that was properly like grounded in that particular field, but thankfully I came across this course, and to be very honest, I wanted to do something that like covered most of the global topics. I wanted that particularly not in a particular topic, to be very honest. I still remember my first interview with Daniel. He gave a proper introduction to me about the place, about everything. At that time, I got to know that, okay, we are going to get like one of the best group of professors that we ever asked for, because let it be him or Gerard, everyone, they are really, 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 really helpful. Like even in the classroom, it doesn't feel like you are having a lecture or something. It feels like it's a discussion between a group of people. uh, Everyone is so open about what you think, what you perceive, what have you experienced, what does it mean, and everything. So it feels like more of a discussion than like a 2 hour long class and everything. So yeah, I feel also that Daniel have said that it gives you benefits of the both the universities. So of course that is obviously a benefit to all of the students. So yeah, it has been great actually so far.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that's super, super positive.
Yeah.
Thank you both for sharing that. So, Daniel, we do have a
Yes.
quick question. If you could tell us a little bit about the major themes that you'll be covering during this
In
course.
terms of the different modules.
Right. Within the modules, like if there's any
Yes.
broad
Okay.
themes that you
Okay.
could sort of
So we
share.
have three core modules that students need to take. One is quantitative and qualitative research methods. The second is a theory class around introductions of the concept of social change. The third one is a core thematic module on globalization and social change, the BRIC countries, India, China, Brazil, in comparison. Then you have a list of 8 elective modules. You choose 3. And they cover gender and social change, global responses to climate change, comparative healthcare systems around the world, everyday nationhood in comparative perspective, then migration, labor, and conflict. Then comes my module, which I briefly talked about, the migration challenge, comparative educational perspectives, religion in comparative perspective, and sociological thinking in the digital age. That's quite interesting as well, because we've just hired a professor here at Trinity who is actually looking at the intersection sort of humans and machines and AI and how that goes forward. So this sort of new stuff that sociology is now looking in as well. And then so that's another 30 ECTS from your electives. And then the last third comes from the dissertation, where you write a 20,000 word dissertation between May and August under one-to-one supervision with a member of staff, either in Trinity or in UCD. And that gives you the 90 credits, 30 from the core, 30 from your chosen electives, and 30 from the dissertation to make up the year. Is Anam frozen? Or let me just say a little bit about the class sizes, perhaps, because this year we have 28. This is the highest number we've ever had, but typically we would be around 20 or in the low 20s. So it has emerged over the last few years. Like I said, we're now in the 10th year, in the 9th year, recruiting the 10th year, and we have sort of stabilized around 20 or in the low 20s of students this year, 28. The composition of the students I was already talking about a while ago. Maybe what's also very important is the tuition fees. So currently it stands at 18,700 euros. That's the equivalent of about 1,700,000 Indian rupees, if my conversion grade is correct. Sripurna and Meghna can help me out there. So that's actually very competitive, given that, as I said, you have full access to 2 universities, and have these 2 universities basically for the price of 1. Now, people will also be wondering, how does it work in terms of scholarships? So there are no scholarships for the program as such, because the rates are very competitively priced, and because you have this access to the 2 universities for that price of 1 university, essentially. There are small bursaries, but they are small in terms of the award money, if that helps students. But essentially, there's no part-time or full-time scholarships on this program, given the very unique nature of the program we have at the moment. So I think that's an important one as well. What I should also say in terms of the content, while Anam is trying to rejoin, I think, is that it's very policy oriented. So a lot of the modules have a policy focus, whereby we don't just discuss concepts and theories in an abstract sense, but we actually relate them to policy debates. We try to inform policy making at national, at international level. We have also fieldwork components. So there are modules that have an excursion, for example, to EPIC, the Irish Immigration Museum, where we can see some of the classroom discussions then in action. So that's I think important as well. It's also important to bear in mind that compared to the US and the UK, this is a much cheaper program. Because if you go for similar programs in the UK, you're looking at what, anything up to about £30,000 or so. Whereas the 18,000 euro here, which is the 1.7 million rupees, is really very well priced compared to UK and US programs. And there are no such programs talking about issues of social change in those institutions either. Other things that I think I should mention is where do students go next? And Meghna, of course, can say a little bit more about what she has done next, because a number of students indeed go to PhDs. So Meghna is in Detroit, but others have gone to the London School of Economics, to the EUI, the European University Institute in Florence. To obviously, some have stayed in Trinity, others have stayed in UCD, in University College Dublin. Others have gone to Oxford, to St Andrews University in Scotland. So these are really great universities, very highly ranked universities as well, where they're pursuing political science, social policy, anthropology, sociology, PhD programs. So perhaps Meghna can tell a little bit about her experience in Detroit. I believe she's at the end of her third year, so round about halfway through the PhD program now, and also reflect a little bit to what extent this MSc Comparative Social Change has helped you get to Detroit.
Right. Thank you so much, Daniel. First, good evening, everybody. So I am Meghna. I joined the program in 2019. So I'm an alumni of the master's program in comparative social change, which is a joint degree offered by Trinity College Dublin and University College Dublin. So I joined back in fall semester 2019 as an international student from India. And when I joined the course, okay, first I'll just break down into three different parts. Now, first, why I joined the course. So I had already an undergrad degree in sociology back from Delhi University. And so I was looking for a master's program that would offer global topics. And I'm a gender scholar. So I was already looking at topics like migration, education, social change, sex and gender, and so on and so forth. And then from a friend of mine, when I heard about the course, when I applied for the course, and then when I finally got into the course and then landed in Dublin and then attended a few classes, I was very happy, because coming back from India, when you land in a country like Ireland and attend classes, when you see like what Shikrona has said, when you see that the classes are more like discussions, and it's a diverse class with a lot of nationalities. So when you hold a topic, you are basically open to opinions from different individuals, and that automatically opens up a lot of opportunities for you. And secondly, because it had a lot of area of courses, like Dr. Daniel Fass has already said, migration, courses on education, topics on sex and gender, on climate change. So, and it has provided by both the best universities in Ireland. So basically you're in the best of both worlds. And also my foundation was built in Ireland because I was framed with a very solid foundation of theoretical frameworks. And my personal favorite was the methodological classes, which had both quantitative and qualitative. So that had formed a rubric for me to think ahead for my research. And finally, when I graduated in 2020, my professors like Dr. Daniel Fass, my advisor, Dr. Anne Holohan, were like the backbone, because they showed me to take my research forward. And I was actively applying in universities in the US. And finally, in 2021, I got through a PhD program in Wayne State University, Detroit in US, with a full scholarship for 5 years. So as an alumni, I'm very grateful to all the professors, because they have helped me form the foundation. They had helped me get through my next phase of life, because I always wanted to do a PhD. And I think having a very solid theoretical foundation and methodological toolkit, because these are the foundational toolkit for a researcher. So I think I'm blessed and I'm grateful for all the guidance that has been provided by this course. So anybody wanting to take up this course, a total heads up. And here I am, always available. If you need more information, if you need more help, I'm just an email away. Thank you so
That's
much.
that's
Thank you so
great,
much.
Meghna. So that's a great example of a PhD student trajectory. But that is not the only graduate career path that people have taken from the program. So I just want to highlight a couple of others. So people have also gone to work in NGOs, in non-governmental organizations, particularly in the areas of housing, refugees, migration, both in Ireland and abroad. Government jobs, policy-related tasks, given the policy-oriented nature of a variety of the modules that I just mentioned. Also, private sector jobs, be it instructors, research assistants on research projects, etc. So there's really quite a variety of graduate career options as well. I should say that as part of the first term of teaching, we have a bespoke career session that we organize only for the students who are currently on this program, based on a LinkedIn analysis of graduate profiles from this program. And then we give you sort of opportunities about enhancing your CV. Where could you apply? Where did previous graduates from this program go? And we can link you in with those as well. There's also a LinkedIn group for this master's. So there's a lot of options in terms of that. I see that there is a question there on fully funded master scholarships. I did
Yes.
talk already a while ago about that, and that there are no fully funded master scholarships. So because of the nature of this program, because of the unique nature of having basically studying in two universities for the price of just one, with those 18,700 euro. That's the important one. There's also a question there I can see for other master's programs. Yes, you would just have to go to the website of the university and find those programs. So we're not talking about the other master's programs. I'm here just to specifically
That's
talk
right.
about the MSc in
Yes.
comparative social change. And I'm great that
Daniel,
you are
yes.
back. Yes.
Yes, thank you so much for keeping the flow going, and you've actually, covered a lot of what I was going to sort of talk about. So great, and thank you, Meghna, for sharing your perspective. I think the whole idea between having Shripurna and Aina, and then you was to just show the trajectory that a student goes through, and it's positive everywhere. And I think also the enthusiasm with which you all wanted to join this particular life and talk about your experience goes, it goes a long way and shows what a fabulous job Daniel and the team are doing at TCD and UCD with this program. Daniel, there are some questions from Instagram. I'm going to be just going through them. Will there be
Yes.
any sort of
Let's read them
field
out.
work? Yeah.
Will there be any
So,
sort of field work? Yes,
yes,
yes.
during the course.
So indeed, so in the research methods course, for example, in the second teaching semester, so from January to April, there will, for example, be an exercise where people do a semi-structured interview. They design an interview guide. They do the interview. They reflect on how well this interview has gone, with a view of improving the research skills. And then, of course, there will be a lot of field work because you do your dissertation, 20,000 words, on a topic of your choice, where you have field work, collecting data, either quantitative data or qualitative data, or indeed both, whether it's interviews, observations, questionnaires, and then you analyze them, and then you write them up with the help of this assigned supervisor, either from Trinity or from UCD. So yes, there will indeed be fieldwork training in the modules earlier on, and then you apply that in the dissertation over the summer. Yes.
Great, great. Thank you, Daniel. Also, someone who just joined a bit late, if you could just reiterate, the final degree will be awarded by which university?
There is one degree certificate that has the logos and signatures from Trinity and from UCD, and the signatures from the registrars of both universities. It's a Latin certificate. It has the logos, the signatures from both universities, but the ceremony at which it is awarded is in UCD, because UCD are the administrative hub. But it is awarded jointly by both universities, and it has the names, logos, and everything from both universities. So one award, one certificate, awarded jointly by both universities at a ceremony in December at UCD.
Okay,
I just
great.
want to add on to this,
Yes.
Daniel. So the certificate can also be translated to English. I mean, I did
Okay,
that back
great,
Yes,
great.
you can apply for that.
Yeah, with a
Yes.
very small amount from euros, you can translate that Latin language to an English certificate.
The reason it's in Latin is because Trinity College Dublin, in particular, has sister colleges in Oxford and in Cambridge, and we operate in the same sort of framework as Oxford and Cambridge. So that's why the ceremonies, the certificates are in Latin.
Right.
That's right. Yeah, I think it's the legacy of some of the older universities
That's
in the
it.
world.
That's
Right.
it.
So that's why it's in Latin.
And that has been accepted all over the world. So that's not a
Yes.
problem.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. And also, we have another request to if you could retell the trajectory from a master's to becoming a PhD scholar.
Yes, so during the course of and Meghna can help me there. So during the course of the masters, you can already start applying for a PhD, and many of the graduates of this program have done that. Typically in spring, March, April is the deadline to apply for entry in September. And yes, you can do that either in Trinity, UCD, or indeed at any other university using the provisional grades you have obtained so far from the MSc. And then if you hold that grade, typically a 2-1 equivalent, then you will be accepted also for a PhD. Every university has their own different requests of what you need for a PhD, a research proposal, a research idea, references, of course. So you can come back to me to write the reference or to my colleagues. And then good grades, of course, you need as well. And probably, if it's not a full scholarship, also some funding.
Great.
Right.
Meghna,
Meghna.
anything to add?
Right. So I just wanted to add that there are three things that to keep in mind because every university has different requirements, but the three most important requirements are definitely the SOP. In some universities, it's called SOP, and in some universities, it's called the proposal. So that is one. So, and that as you get through the course, you can work towards it because by the time you are midway of your course, you already know that probably this is the area I want to proceed forward with my PhD. So that is one. And the second is the letter of recommendation. So I would suggest that probably 6 months prior to graduation, you can reach out to your professors and at least let them know that you'll be applying for your PhD so that by the time, because every PhD application has their own deadlines. So just to keep in track and to not to miss your deadline. So that is two. And some universities require certain tests like the IELTS and the GRE. So for US, you need the GRE, and for most other universities, you need IELTS. So these are the three things to keep in mind. So as you get through your course, so just make sure that you keep the deadlines and these three things in mind as you apply.
Wonderful. And I think so. We are coming near the end of our time. But Meghna, I just wanted to get an idea from you. What was it like being a student of two universities, having access to two campuses? I mean, I think that's a very novel experience for someone to go through.
Right.
So if you could just shed light on that.
Right. Absolutely. That's what I started off with. So coming back from India and to get the exposure from both the universities, basically you are just landing in the best of both worlds because you're getting exposure to professors who has expertise in different knowledge, in different backgrounds of research. So, and like I said, that all the classrooms were so diverse, like every classes that I attended, I remember the discussions were ranging from, it was such a diversified classroom because every student came from a different background and they had opinions on different matters, right? So, so that was very enlightening for me. And few classes happened in Trinity College and few classes happened in UCD. So basically you are getting to use resources from both the colleges and it's the best thing basically. And I had a wonderful time because the libraries were so well equipped. The professors were available just over an email, or if you cannot get through an email, you can always Zoom in. So the experience were very overwhelming, very enlightening, and I think everybody should make the most of it. So, and because it's a joint degree, I think it cannot get any better than this.
Just to add on what Meghna was saying there, so everything is indeed split 50-50. So the amount of modules on offer from Trinity and from UCD is 50-50. The amount of students supervised in Trinity in the end is 50 and the other 50% in UCD. The amount of time spent in the classroom, Monday, Tuesdays in UCD, Wednesdays, Thursdays in Trinity is 50-50. Everything we try to keep exactly 50-50 so that you have a 50-50 experience of the two universities.
And
Great.
also, add on another point,
Yes.
as you choose your final advisor, I think they give us a lot of flexibility, because by the time you get to select your advisor, you already know what area of research you are going to proceed with your thesis. So a lot of flexibility, basically, a lot of flexibility, a lot of openness, and a lot of diversity, inclusivity. So yeah, I had a brilliant experience overall.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Meghna. And Daniel, any last words before we wrap up the live?
Yeah, I think just remember the unique nature of this program. Two universities for the price of one, essentially. You are at the top two universities. You have a very broad-based master's in a highly diverse classroom with great career opportunities, as you could see from Meghna and also from the in-class experiences from Aina and Sripurna earlier on. So yes, please do come and join us. Go to the course website. There is a dedicated course website. You just Google MSc Comparative Social Change, Trinity College Dublin, University College Dublin. You get to the course website, or send me an email, daniel.fas@tcd.ie, to discuss further. And then we all look forward, of course, to welcoming your applications.
Great, great. Thank you, Daniel. And I think you put it so well. Two universities at the cost of one. I think that can definitely be a tag word. But thank you again, all of you. I know Shripurna and Aina were there earlier. They gave us a very good, experience of how it's been, so far for them as students who've just joined in their first couple of months, and their motivations to do it. They've come from very different backgrounds, and that's another great thing about this particular program. You get the benefit of studying at two universities. It's open to people from different disciplines. You have field trips. You have great graduate prospects. I know also Meghna is doing her PhD, but we had spoken to Titas last year, and she's
Yes.
currently a professor of sociology at UCD. So it gives you that sort of wide gamut of possibilities that you have after doing this
So
particular master's program.
I'm just looking at our research seminar series, because we do
Right.
encourage the students to also take part in other activities on campus. So
Right.
Titas is actually giving a talk now in the research seminar series in February, on the February 12th, on pedagogy as body politic, exploring the saffronized classroom setting as a fascist space in the making. So there you go. She's a PhD
Wow.
candidate in sociology at UCD, but already she's giving public seminars now in research seminar series here. So, and other graduates have published with myself, with other colleagues. So all of that is happening, coming out of the program. Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. So great. I mean, thank you again so much. So what we're going to do is, Daniel will be sharing the course link and your email once we post this live, so that anyone who's interested can reach out to you and read more
Please
about
do.
this particular program.
Yes. Thank you so much,
And
Anand. And thank you, Meghna, and everybody else. And thank you
thank
for
you.
coming along on this holiday and to listening.
I know, and thank you for joining us from all the different time zones. I'm glad
Yes.
we could get together and do this. And
Right.
here's hoping we have double the number of Indian students joining you next year.
Great.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yep.
Look forward.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Goodbye. All the best.
Have a good day.
You too.